Welcome to the Smart Went Crazy Podcast. Here's your host, Joe Mantione.
How's everybody doing tonight? Big day in the news. We're back. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back with the Bills. And let me introduce my one and only co-host, the one and only man I know, Neil Sunlick!
I'm here. We're here now.
He's here. Where could he be? Where could he be?
Go Bills.
Go Bills. How's everybody doing tonight? How is everybody doing tonight? So we got some stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff to talk about. Some new developments in the last couple of hours with the Bills going nuts. It's absolutely insane. Today we're going to be talking about fear. We're going to be talking about sports. And we're going to be talking about drugs. We're going to be talking about the heroin epidemic in Buffalo right now and across the country. In places like New Hampshire and Buffalo and across the country. So let's get started. I'm going to start off the show tonight with fear. Fear. We're going to talk about fear.
Fear.
So, I apologize about that. So the best way I want to start off this show is you can't live your life in fear. Fear is a dark, dirty place inside your body that people live their life by, right? So you only have 86,000 seconds in a day, right? So you get 86,000 seconds deposited in your bank account every day, and that's your day. What you choose to do with those 86 seconds is yours. Are you going to live them through fear, or are you going to live them to the fullest? Life is filled with hard choices. Life is filled with sad things. But it's about how hard you can get hit, get back up, and take a punch, and then get hit again, and keep doing it over and over and over again, and keep getting back up. I want to say to all the people out there that are going through rough times and have hard choices in front of them, don't let fear define you. Don't let fear stop you from loving who you love, applying for that promotion, working hard to achieve what you want to achieve, getting your goals set down on a piece of paper. One thing I like to do to avoid fear is I like to post my goals all over the house. So I have my goals set on a door, and every time I go through that door, or I go through that window, or I come through the house, I see my goals listed in front of me. Mm-hmm. Fear will never define me as a human being. We've all lived through rough times. And we all have to face challenges that no human being should ever have to face in their life. But don't ever let your life be lived by fear. Don't ever let fear control you. Do you think the boys on Normandy during D-Day weren't scared? No, they kept pushing forward and they stormed the beaches and we ended up taking over Nazi Germany. Do you think that Abraham Lincoln didn't walk into the Oval Office filled with fear? No, he did. He walked into the Oval Office filled with a country that was broken apart, but he was able to put it back together, win the Civil War, and unfortunately was assassinated, but he didn't live his life in fear. He was able to accomplish the unaccomplishable. God gives us 86,000 seconds a day, folks. What you choose to do with it is yours. That's all I got to say. That's all I have to say about fear today. Don't let it define you. Don't let it get in the way of your choices. Don't let the bad in, because if you let the bad in, then the bad wins. And when you let the bad win, you become nothing. And when you become nothing, you can't be strong for yourself, you can't be strong for us, and you can't be strong for your family. So don't ever let the bad win. That's all I want to say. Neil, take it away, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. Sometimes in life we get dealt a bad hand, and all you can do is learn from the past. Don't let it consume you, and just move forward and stay positive. Surround yourself around people who are positive, and you know what you put out there is what you get in return. I'm a big believer in that. I mean, that's all I really got to say about that. What else?
That's pretty much it, man. So I want to just let everybody know that's out there that's scared of trying to accomplish things that they feel are unaccomplishable, or people who are out there that want to go for a promotion or love somebody that you think you can't possibly love. Whatever the case may be, don't let fear define your choices.
Yep.
If you let fear define your choices, you'll never make the right one. That's all I have to say. Oh, and another thing too is live life by your gut. Live life by your heart. Don't always live life by your head. Because your head tells you to do something, and your heart tells you to do the other thing. And when your heart usually tells you to do something, that means you're going on the right path. Let me tell you that straight. Alright? I love you guys. We're going to get into football now.
Okay. Big news in football right now. Free agency day has started right at 4 o'clock today. A bunch of new signings went through. The first thing that happened was the Browns
drafted Brock.
No, not drafted.
Signed Brock Osweiler.
They also got, in return, they took his contract, basically, from Houston, and they got a 2nd round and a 6th round pick for doing so. So, if you can look at it in two ways, you can look at it as, if they're looking at Brock Osweiler as their quarterback going forward, I think they're in trouble. But it might be just they wanted that 2nd round pick, and they had all the cap space, so it might be, some people think it was a brilliant move. Whatever, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Browns. Usually they screw it up. The Bills went out and got Micah Hyde. I like this guy. I've been paying attention. Packers are one of my top 4 favorite teams right now. My favorite teams, obviously the Bills. My second favorite team is the Steelers, and then the Packers, and then Carolina. So I like Micah Hyde. I've always liked how he plays. He's a hard-hitting safety. He can come down. He can cover tight ends. He'll be good against Gronk. I think he's a tough guy. He can drop down and cover Gronk. We still need another corner though. So I don't know if anyone signed Alteron Werner yet. I think he's still a free agent. That's who I think the Bills should target next. But I think it was a step forward in the right direction. We need some secondary right now. I'm happy with the pick. What do you like? What do you think about the pick, Micah Hyde?
I'm very happy with the pick. I'm very excited about what the Bills are going to do. I'm glad we got rid of Stephon Gilmore. I personally didn't feel like he was the best cornerback in the league, like everyone seems to think he is. I watched a lot of plays that he should have been on top of, fail miserably. So see ya, goodbye, thank you, have a nice day.
Do you think with Stephon Gilmore going to the Patriots, and the mind of Bill Belichick, especially on defense, with Malcolm Butler on the other side of the field, do you think he's gonna do some damage over there? It's gonna be a tough defense to play against.
Everybody is coachable. Everybody is coachable. That's the number one skill you got to have in the NFL. It's not how fast you are. It's not how quick you do things. It's not how good you are. It's about how coachable you are, right? So when you approach the NFL, people are going to teach you things and they're going to make you better. So if Stephon Gilmore is open to accepting Bill Belichick's system and learning from the defense and learning from Malcolm Butler, then yeah, he can become the number one cornerback in the league. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't see that kind of talent. I don't think he's a Richard Sherman. I don't think he's, what's that guy's name from the Redskins that we were talking about?
Josh Norman.
Josh Norman. I don't think he's a Josh Norman. I don't think he's a lot of people.
You know what, though? I do think Gilmore was more of a physical corner anyway. I think he'll be better in a defense that's more suitable, zone defense, bump you in the first 5 yards. Basically, play your side. I don't think he was. It seemed like we tried to use him as like a Revis and put him on somebody and try to cover him all game long, and he would get beat a lot. People didn't like to see that. But coming out, I mean, in the first round, he was our first round pick. Was it 2011? I think it was, and he's got talent. Like this Gilmore, to see him go I don't like seeing him go, to be honest. I wanted to keep him, but he wanted too much money, so I just hope we can replace him with somebody like Werner or maybe Prince Amukamara from Jacksonville. I hope we can come away with someone in free agency before this whole free agency frenzy is over. We can come away with another corner because Ronald Darby is great and all, but I just don't see him being able to carry the load by himself with a rookie starting cornerback.
Scott says Gilmore's making shutdown money.
Yeah, he is.
Scott said
that's the thing. The Patriots,
he is making shutdown money, and he shouldn't be. I'm sorry, Scott. I'm sorry.
The Patriots can afford him right now because they just won the Super Bowl and they have the fifth most cap space, and they just need to fill in those gaps. And Gilmore is right there. Why not? I would do the same thing if I was them.
And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, listen, I'm happy that we re-signed Tyrod Taylor. I really am. I'm gonna go ahead and say that right now. As far as I'm concerned, he's the guy. Scott, I agree with you. We talked about this yesterday on the show. He's the guy for the job as of right now. No need to get rid of him until we have a franchise quarterback under our belt, like a Jim Kelly or whoever. But the point is, I agree with that signing. I agree with the trade to. You think it was way too much money to sign Tyrod Taylor? You think this is real life, AJ Giordano? It is real. It is real life, bud. We've been doing this for about a couple weeks now. McCoy is the Bills, Chris Walters says. Thanks. We know that, Chris.
Yeah, I mean he's putting up the numbers. He's doing.
Why are you always causing trouble, Walters? Why are you always causing trouble?
We all know Chris Walters is a Patriots fan. He makes it very loud and clear. All right, we get it. Your team's good.
We know your team's good. Thank you.
But this year is going to be over.
This year we're going to shut them down, I hope. I really do. Oh, yeah. Scott corrected himself. I'm sorry. I misinterpreted what you said.
I agree.
Gilmore is getting paid way too much. I agree with you on that, for sure. I'm glad about Tyrod Taylor. I'm glad about McCoy. I'm glad about all these players that we have. Brady, I'm not going to say that on air. You know how I feel about swearing on air. But regardless of the situation, I agree with most of what you're saying. I'm very upset that Alshon Jeffrey went to the Eagles. What do you think about that, dude?
Man,
I would have liked to see.
I would have liked to see him in a Bills uniform too, but
I would have loved to see him in a Bills uniform.
I kind of predicted that right as soon as free agency started that he was going to have like 15, 20 teams bidding for him, and I just didn't see him coming landing here.
You guys make this very hard to be. Stay professional.
What's the news? What's the news on Terrell Pryor? Did he get signed anywhere?
Terrell Pryor.
I should have looked this up before we did this, but Terrell Pryor. Anyone in the chat have any idea what's up with Terrell Pryor? I think he did. The Browns are going to keep him. So the Browns are going to keep Terrell Pryor. I mean, I wanted him, but I guess the Browns are going to keep him. The Browns got all the money in the world right now to just do whatever they want. Worst franchise in the league with the most money and the most draft picks. So we'll see what happens with the Browns.
And then
Calais Campbell got signed by the Jaguars. Calais Campbell just made that defense good in one. That's it. One signing. That defense has a lot of young talent, but that's what they needed. They needed that force in the middle of the. I think he's going to play D tackle for them. Depends on if they're a 3-4 or a 4-3. If they're a 3-4 defense, he'll play on the end. If they're a 4-3, he'll play defensive tackle. He's huge. I mean,
absolutely.
You know, this dude is just—he's going to break through the line, the offensive line, and get to the quarterback. He makes your defense better immediately. I think Arizona is going to miss him. I think he's going to make a big hole in that defense.
And then the other big thing is Romo's going to be on the trading block.
Yep.
Who knew about that? I still can't believe. That he may be going to Denver.
I think
maybe
Denver
going to Houston.
I think Denver's
Who knows, man?
I think Denver's gonna make the trade.
If he goes to Denver, I'm telling you right now, they're gonna be a contender for the Super Bowl next year. If he goes to Houston, same thing. That line is a very efficient line.
Defense though.
Yeah.
Houston's defense is just insane.
Denver's got a great offensive line. Tony Romo will have plenty of time in the pocket to pass. I'm telling you, if Tony Romo lands himself in either of these two teams,
they'll be on.
they're gonna have a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
Another big thing is Cutler's off. The Bears are coming to an end. His reign with the Bears are done.
And they're gonna replace him with Mike Glennon.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that? Would you? I mean,
No,
to me,
I wouldn't.
Me personally, I would rather keep Cutler than Mike Glennon. I don't know what people see in Mike Glennon. He's tall. He's got a nice arm. That's it. I mean, I don't see anything else. He's not doing anything else. He doesn't have any like premier talent that's better than anyone else. It's Mike Glennon. He's good enough to be a starter and too good to be a backup, I guess. I don't know. He's right in that E.J. Manuel type echelon,
Now,
in my opinion.
Scott disagrees with my my analysis here. He says Denver O-line wasn't good last year, but they just signed Leary, which I agree. I don't want to say they were the best line. They weren't the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys had the best line in the NFL. No. I mean,
of course.
That's why their running back and his name escapes me. What's his name?
Who?
Denver's running back. Dallas's running back. What's his name?
Dallas is
Isn't it?
what's his name?
Oh my God! I'm sorry. I completely forgot his name.
You just drew a blank on me.
Oh. What's Denver's or Dallas's
right here.
running back name?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Zeke Elliott. Yep,
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott. The reason he was so good is not just because he was a talented running back, is because that line made a hole for him like this,
And
where other lines make a hole for their running back like this. You know what I'm saying?
DeMarco Murray was putting up pretty similar numbers to him when he was the running back. It's like they just need someone to play.
Yeah.
Their offensive line is so good that just look at these. All right, here's the offensive line. You got Tyron Smith, first round pick, 2011. Lael Collins, he would have been a first round pick, but he ended up not being in the draft. And then they stole him after the draft was over. They just signed him, picked him up. So he was a steal. Travis Frederick, first round pick, 2013. Zach Martin, first round pick in 2014. And Doug Free is just a beast on the right tackle. It's a perfect, flawless offensive line. You can put any running back there, and they're going to get 100 yards a game. Ezekiel Elliott is breaking rookie records. Yeah, that was weird. I just drew a blank there on his name.
Yeah, so did I.
They still got Alfred.
He is an Ewok, though. That dude looks exactly like an Ewok, Scott.
Yeah, he kind of does
for
look
sure.
like
When he jumped into the Salvation Army pot, I was dying. I love
Morris.
him.
They still have Alfred Morris as their number 2 running back. Alfred Morris, and when he was with Washington, just a straight up monster. Big, heavy running back, can run up the middle. They got the perfect 1-2 punch with Zeke Elliott and Alfred Morris. Darren McFadden's going on free agency. I don't know if anybody's signed him yet. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, but they still got the team in place. They're ready to go.
Dallas is looking good.
Dallas is going back. I think they're going back in the playoffs.
And
Let's take a look at the
Scotty
Bills.
said, don't forget about McFadden or Dunbar.
Yeah, McFadden's a free agent, unrestricted free agent right now. I don't know. They might re-sign him, though. But either way, you got Alfred Morris and Zeke Elliott. I don't even think they're going to try to re-sign. I mean, why not? If he's not worth that much, then take him. But that's a nasty running back core right there. So, okay, so with the Bills now, with adding Micah Hyde at the safety, Aaron Williams is gone. You still got Corey Graham back there. Do you think we should still look for another safety for depth?
I would look for another safety, but I still think we need to draft a rookie quarterback.
What round are you thinking?
If we can get him in the first
round, huh? So what do you think? Deshaun Watson, number 10 overall?
I've told you I want Deshaun Watson.
All right. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
I really do not believe Tyrod. Anybody who believes Tyrod Taylor is the future of the Bills, I'm sorry, you're mistaken.
I'm
sorry.
I do. I like Tyrod Taylor. I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna put my money all in on Tyrod. I'm not drafting a quarterback this year. Unless it's after the 4th round. If you draft a quarterback after the 4th round, fine. I don't care. You want it, but I'm going in this year with Tyrod Taylor, number 1, Cardell Jones, number 2. All right? 1 year. He's got 1 year under his belt. He's still very raw, but you can use him. This is his year to be a backup. Let's see what he can do. So what else we got? We got on defense now.
Wait a minute, we're not done with this conversation.
All right, go ahead.
So Tyrod Taylor is kind of like your Dan Carpenter. You know, he came out of the gun. He was a real good kicker that first year. He was
good in Miami.
He was good.
Dan Carpenter was a good kicker when he was in Miami.
Tyrod Taylor, that's how Tyrod Taylor looks to me. He's going to fizzle out. I'm telling you right now.
Here's
the
what
guy
I think.
can't throw the ball 15 yards.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
If you have a deep ball, you could throw a medium pass or a short pass. It's just a matter of time before he gets it. See, all right, if you can get Tyrod.
Shout out to Alex.
All right, Robert Woods. He signed. Where did he go? Oh, Robert Woods went to the Rams. They gave him like a big contract for what he's done. Barely. I mean, he's been a number 2 receiver. He has his numbers. I don't think he's ever even had a 1,000-yard season yet. They gave him a hefty contract. They got a lot of money towards him and Tavon Austin together. They lost Kenny Brett. So going forward, the Rams are going to have Robert Woods and Tavon Austin as the running back or as the receivers. I don't know. I don't miss Robert Woods at all.
Mike Williams.
Even Goodwin, all he was really good for was just go deep, see how fast he can beat anybody. Me personally, I'm going to get a whole new receiving core this year. After Sammy Watkins, if we can't come away with a receiver right now in free agency who's good enough to play starting opposite side of Sammy Watkins, that I'm drafting Mike Williams, first round, 10th pick overall, and I'm making the Clemson connection. 2 receivers out of Clemson, but one of them is 6'4". Yeah, I like Mike Williams. He's 6'4". He has the skill set that Sammy Watkins doesn't have. They complement each other. So now you're going to have Sammy Watkins. He's explosive. He's got crazy hands. He is a great receiver. All right. So on the other side, you're going to have, if we do draft Mike Williams, now we got a 6'4", 225-pound. He go up and get it, red zone threat. Now you got a complete receiving core. Now in the slot, we still have Desmond Lewis on the team. So I want to see Desmond Lewis step it up this year and prove that he can be on. Yeah, I prove that he can be on Bill and prove that he can be on the field more than a couple snaps a game. Let's get him out there. Let's see what he can do. But I'm also looking to sign either a free agent or a 2nd or 3rd round pick for another receiver. We only have right now. The Bills only have 3 receivers on our roster. So we're talking about Walter Powell, Desmond Lewis, and Sammy Watkins. Those are not going to be our top 3 receivers. That's not going to work.
So I mean that's pretty much what's going on with free agency right now. It's a very it's a shark fest out there, and I love it.
The Bills still have to re-sign Zach Brown. I think we're going to let Lorenzo Alexander go. Even though he had a phenomenal season, the way I see it is you got Shaq Lawson coming back full. He's ready. He was already.
I gotta cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta cut you off. Scott Sunlack wants to know who would win in an arm wrestling match, me or you?
I don't know.
Who do you think will win?
You guys want to see?
Do you want to see?
We could do it. I don't care.
We could do it. We'll do it. We'll do it before the show's over. We
Right.
gotta move some stuff around, so we got some.
Put it on the board.
Make it on the list.
Arm wrestle between me and Joe. So stay tuned for that. We got a couple more topics to talk about. I don't want to get all sweaty and let's finish our show first.
He's gonna win. It's alright, but we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this because it's good TV. It's good TV.
Yeah, it's good.
Right?
Yeah, we're gonna do it. I'm down.
So
Chris Walters says LOL. All right, Chris, who do you got your money on? Start placing bets in the chat. I want to see.
Start placing
I want to see what everyone thinks is gonna happen. So all right, yeah.
Great. I can watch you guys talk all night.
Keep the chat going. It's interesting to see that. Just remember, within the next half hour from now, we are gonna do a head-to-head arm wrestle. Me and Joe. Whoever wins, you have to buy me a coffee.
I'll buy you a coffee.
If I win,
you buy. We buy each other.
coffee. All right, it's that simple. Anything else with free agency? Do you want to?
Michael Paul Sweeney put 10 on me. Joe is weak. Nikki Spalletti said, or Spalletti. I don't know how to say it, Nikki. I'm sorry, Nikki. Ellie's laughing out loud. This is great. We love this, guys. We enjoy the we enjoy the way is we enjoy everybody's chats. We really do.
Your boy Deshaun Jackson is going with the Bucks.
What did I tell you? Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson. It's a shut down offense. Shut down offense.
Shut down offense.
Shut down offense.
You know
That's
what?
it. Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson. The Bucks were very close to making the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is going to be very amazing to watch them play. Mike Evans. I played him in my fantasy team. He's a very amazing receiver. I love him.
I was just talking about complementary roles. That is the perfect complementary talents between Deshaun Jackson and Mike Evans. Mike Evans is that big, physical, go up and get it, red zone threat. Deshaun Jackson, obviously, he's really fast, and he's a little bit smaller, but he's elusive. He can get kick returns and stuff like that. Let's see what else happened. Khalil signs with the Panthers. Oh yeah, Stephen Hoshka. We've been talking about kickers for the past few days. We're making fun of Dan Carpenter. Stephen Hoshka was the kicker for the Seahawks.
Yeah, I love it. I'll up top you on that one. Hoshka is a good kicker. He definitely laid up for the Seahawks many a times. I love him. He's great. I played him in my fantasy a few times.
That's got to be one of the highest contracts for a kicker. Besides,
he's a good kicker.
He's a good kicker. He's 4 years, $12 million. So we're giving him some extra money for what normally a kicker's worth. But he's a good kicker though. He's going to make he's not going to miss extra points. At least we know that's not going to happen.
We can't miss extra points.
Because when Dan Carpenter's
done.
Yeah,
it's done.
He's just a mess. That was a mess. QB Ryan Mallett. The Ravens are going to keep Ryan Mallett. Remember when Ryan Mallett got drafted by the Patriots? And everybody thought this was the next
Tom Brady?
Either that or he was going to get traded by the Patriots and go somewhere and be... He just kind of fizzled out. He's just a backup.
To reply to Scott, Hoshka is clutch. He is very clutch.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, Stills heading back to Miami.
Yep.
I knew they wouldn't get rid of Kenny Stills.
Ooh, look at this one.
Marquise Goodwin is going to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's a...
See ya. Bye.
Yeah,
Have a good day.
I'm not. He's fast. That's all it really is. He's just fast.
See ya. I mean, I gotta be honest. When I had season tickets, I used to love watching Goodwin come down the field, catching that fade. He's definitely a great wide receiver, but he's not. He's where he belongs with San Francisco. Let him miss catches over there.
Now, what do you think about this? As good as the Bills' running game is, they add Mike Tolbert, the bowling ball fullback, played his whole career. I'm pretty sure his whole career with Carolina, and he's been. I don't even know. I think he's been, at least been once or maybe twice an All-Pro fullback.
Bring somebody over from there.
Exactly. I think that was a Sean McDermott connection right there. Mike Tolbert, he can not only can he block for McCoy. This dude, you got to hand this guy the ball. He can make plays. Like this is not just a fullback that's going to block, like Jerome Felton was. This is a fullback. You could throw him a pass. You could give him the ball up the middle if you got 3rd and 1 or something. He's gonna. Just pay attention to Mike Tolbert. This guy is no joke.
Brandon LaFleur is signing with the Bengals for another 2-year deal. I love Brandon LaFleur. He's awesome.
Chris Walters, you didn't even tell me.
Patriots get tight end Dwayne Allen and trade with the Colts.
Dwayne Allen and Gronk? What is going on in New England? They just have everybody. Where's Chris Walters in the chat?
Dwayne Allen. No, thank you.
Chris, I agree. Bringing Kelly Jr. to the Bills, I would love to see that. Even if he doesn't start this year, develop him and put him in.
Who's the Colts' other tight end? What's the Colts' other tight end's name?
The Colts' other tight end was they had Doyle. They had
Jack Doyle.
Yeah.
Jack Doyle was the other tight end on the Colts. Let me tell you something. I would have rather had Jack Doyle than Dwayne Allen. I'm sorry, Dwayne Allen was terrible last year.
Yeah, Jack Doyle was great. Yeah.
Jack Doyle was
Dwayne Allen with Gronk on the other side? That's going to be the nastiest
that's exactly
tight end set I've ever seen.
Scott said he's a replacement for Bennett,
exactly.
That's it. That's all it is.
They're not going to They're not going to go back to the days when it was Gronk and what's the guy who committed the double homicide? Hernandez. That was like freakishly like amazing for a 2 tight end set. But you know what though? That's as close as it's going to get. I think he's better than Martellus Bennett. I do. I think he's got a better skill set.
Falcons set to re-sign backup QB Matt Schwab.
He had a good career when he was starting for. He had some pretty good games under his belt. But he's just a backup now. He's done.
49ers expected to add wide receiver Pierre Garçon to the offense for 2017. Scott, you said earlier in the show that the 49ers are where wide receivers go to die.
Could be. Marquise Goodwin and Pierre Garçon.
Pierre Garçon, I guess that's where they're going to die, man.
The 49ers, as soon as Jim Harbaugh went back to college, I've never seen a team go from being a top 5 team to being a bottom 5 team so fast. Like, it was like one player after another just either retired or just wanted out or got traded or whatever. They lost their whole team. They lost, like, everybody. Their whole defense, their whole offense, everybody. They're just...
So, let's talk about the Cowboys. Go back to the Cowboys.
Back to the Cowboys.
Bryce Butler is is re-signing with the Cowboys for a 1-year deal. And Terrence Williams is expected to sign somewhere else. I'm sad to see Terrence Williams go from the Cowboys. I liked him a lot. Bryce Butler was clutch on fantasy. He brought some good fantasy points in, but other than that, he's not that great. Davis is remaining Vernon Davis is staying with the Redskins.
You still got
Jordan Reed and Davis.
They're trying to do what New England's doing.
That's a shutdown tight end right there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, you don't necessarily need this whole 2 tight end thing. That if you could make it work like the Patriots did, you could make it work. But other than that, just get some good receivers and a good tight end and a good running back. You don't need to go crazy with tight ends. But I don't know, if you can make it work, you make it work.
I still can't believe that Cleveland, after everything that they went through this season, took Brock Osweiler. I really want to make that very clear. What a dumb choice that was. Brock Osweiler was a terrible quarterback for the Titans. I'm sorry.
I think they did it for the picks because they have all this cap space left over. I don't agree with you either, though. I'm just trying to figure out why. A lot of people think it was a good move because you get a second round and a 6th round pick. Listen, how often does a 6th round pick make it into the starting lineup? Like, not a lot. So don't tell me, they got these picks. The 2nd round pick, yeah, okay, you might be able to turn that into a starter, but even that's not even guaranteed. Charles Johnson goes back to the Panthers. It's a good move. Jermaine Gresham is going to re-sign with the Cardinals, 4-year contract. He's one of those guys who are underrated because he doesn't put up crazy fantasy numbers, but he's there. Like, he's making plays. He can block. He's your prototype tight end, Jermaine Gresham. See, the Patriots, they're going back with Devlin for another 2 years. I noticed that about them. They like to keep their little special teams guys and fullbacks around. You got, I think Matt Slater, Chris Walters. Is Matt Slater still? Is he still going with the Patriots? I feel like he's been on the team as long as Brady. It seems like, and he's just a special teams guy. And that's it, really. Jeremy Curley.
That's it. That's free agency in a nutshell right there, boys.
Yeah, we'll update that tomorrow. Next time we are live, we'll talk more about that.
We'll see where it's going with that. So let's go over this crazy-ass weather that we've been having in Buffalo. I'm telling you, this is whack, right? Who wants to deal with that? As far as I'm concerned, this weather is absolutely insane. Absolutely below the...
At least the weather is starting to break a little bit. We're starting to see a little bit more warmth, no snow. I've been seeing snow in a little bit. It's going to get better. It's going to get worse before it gets better, though. I see, what is that, tomorrow, 25? Tonight?
Yeah, so tomorrow we're looking like 34 degrees tonight. Right now it's about 34 degrees out. Tonight it's going to be about 25 degrees, the low, and it's going to real feel as 18. Tomorrow it's going to be a 29-degree high with snow showers. I lost my weather. I'm sorry.
It's right here.
Oh. You killed me.
Oh, this isn't the same one?
No. Where did it go? WBEN right here.
Oh, it's this one. Sorry.
Sorry about that, guys. So, back to what I was saying. A 29-degree high tomorrow. Real feel is going to be like 15 degrees. So make sure you throw on those hoodies tomorrow and wear your nice jackets. Don't go outside without a hat. I don't want to see any of you fools get sick. Alright? And the real feel is going to be 15 degrees. And on Saturday, we're looking good with a 23-degree high. Real feel 5. That should be awesome. And it's going to have some snow showers. And then we're looking like Monday is going to be 28 degrees, low 19. It's going to be cloudy, PM snow showers. So it's going to be snowing and freezing the rest of the week. So
we got more snow
make sure you pack lightly. Always wear that coat, throw on a hoodie, and stay safe. All right, Buffalo, I love you.
All right, we got some big news coming in the entertainment industry. Game of Thrones Season 7 premiere. Date and trailer revealed. Uh-oh. So this show right here, I wasn't watching it when it was first coming out. I heard everyone the big hype about it. And I always love like games or TV or movies that have to do with Norse mythology, medieval times, magic. I've always been into that kind of stuff. So I got HBO Go now. I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones back to back to back, just getting into it. Boy, do I love this show. So let's see what we got. July 17th. Sky Atlantic will simulcast the episode at 2 a.m. July 17th. That is when HBO will be coming back to Game of Thrones. So we got news on Game of Thrones. They're coming back. The show is back on.
And speaking of entertainment,
Yeah.
Designated Survivor just started up again. Anybody who loves politics and loves what's going on with all the Trump stuff and stuff like that, I definitely recommend watching Designated Survivor. It's on ABC on Wednesday nights. It's a great show. Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, Chicago PD, and now Chicago Justice. Definitely recommend those shows. The last couple weeks they did a combined series together with all those shows. It's been awesome. I apologize. We're muting that out. I'm sorry. And if you're into fire EMS, if you're into police work, definitely watch those shows. They're great shows. We love them. And other than that, the new show that I really like a lot to talk about entertainment is that new show APV. Just came out. It's another Chicago series. Dan Wolf is killing it. That dude's a bazillionaire.
Yeah.
Bubble Guppies, we really don't talk too much about on live air, so we're going to leave that one for Nickelodeon. But with that one being said, definitely watch APB. That's a great show. Combines police work with technology, like hardcore technology. And hopefully I wish to see our precincts sometime in the future using that kind of technology. That'd be pretty cool. So it's a good time killer if you're interested in that kind of stuff.
So the CEO of Amazon today came out and he has said that he wants to put millions of people in space to work and live. So NASA is doing things right now with him. He's putting a lot of money towards that. That's kind of weird news. I just wanted to throw out there, see what everyone thinks about that. So, yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't know how they're going to pull that off, but I think we get one person there first before we decide to put millions of people there. I don't know. What do you think about that? Just craziness.
We did in space.
Yeah.
We got a man to the moon, bro.
No, I know. I'm saying we do it, but like, they're talking about millions of people living and working in space. Like, it's no big deal.
I don't know. I
crazy.
mean, I like my feet grounded, if you ask me.
Yeah. So NBA.
All right, we gotta do this, dude. We gotta do this right now. They want to see an arm wrestle.
Oh, they want the arm wrestle now?
They want the arm wrestle now.
All right, I was gonna run through NBA and NHL real quick.
We're gonna run through NBA and NHL.
Yeah, let's just do this real quick.
We'll do the arm wrestle.
So Kevin Durant says hopefully they'll be back to play soon, but reports are saying that he still has like 3 more weeks left on injury. Oklahoma City is not doing as great as they were with him. They're kind of struggling a little bit, but they're still winning. Let's look at the standings real quick.
Alex, you're an instigator. You know that? You are an instigator.
Cleveland has lost their last 2 games. They're 42-20. Boston's in second place going strong. They won their last game. Let's see. We still got Chicago. My Chicago Bulls are 31-33. They lost their last 3 games. The game they won right before that was against Golden State. Like, they're beating all the best teams, but when they come and play these normal, easy games, they just lose, and it's pissing me off. But at least they're still in the playoff spot. Let's look at the West.
Look at Cleveland. Let's take a look at
Cleveland's
Cleveland.
still in first place. They lost their last 2 games. I just said that.
Oh, sorry about that. Go down to Golden State.
Golden State, obviously still in first place, but they're only less than a game behind, or in front of San Antonio. San Antonio is 9 games straight. They're on fire right now. They rested Kawhi Leonard and still won. And he's coming back. And that's my favorite team in the West. That's who I want to go all the way. Is San Antonio. I love the San Antonio Spurs. And the Denver Nuggets somehow snuck up to the 8th place. They lost their last game, but they are in 8th place right now, so far fighting for a playoff spot, which is weird because Denver, I mean, what have they been doing recently? Just a weird thing. Oklahoma City has lost 4 games in a row. Oklahoma City's in 7th place in the West. They're not looking good right now. I don't know if they're missing Kevin Durant over there or what, but...
All right, ready?
You want to do this now?
I want to do a thumb war right now.
Thumb war?
Ready? Up top. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war.
You can't move your arm like that. You got to keep your arm straight.
Well, you got to bring your thumb in. What are you going to do back there?
Oh, you got me.
There you go. There you go.
Arm wrestle though.
We're gonna do the arm wrestle right after hockey, so stay tuned.
All right, stay tuned.
Leave.
That was just a warm up.
Don't leave.
That was just a warm up. All right. Nancy Pelosi, get out of here. All right, NBA. We're done with NBA. NHL. So, NHL. Any news in the NHL world?
Not too much. Same stuff, different day.
Yeah.
Sabres.
So we'll just go to standings. What is this? Oh, it's Shop NHL. That's what it is.
We messed up, folks. Give us a minute. That was for you, Alex. I did a thumb war for you. I won. So I'm 1-0. 1-0.
Alright, so NHL. Sabres are still not doing good. Still losing all these games. Flyers at the Maple Leafs right now ended the first 1-1. Nothing really crazy going on in the NHL. Everything's still kind of the same old, same old. Standings. Let's go to the standings. Division. So we got Washington in first place in the Metropolitan. They are 3 games now ahead of Pittsburgh. But the crazy thing is Columbus is ahead of Pittsburgh right now in the Metropolitan. So who would have thought Pittsburgh would fall back to 3rd place under Columbus? Montreal's in first in the Atlantic. Rangers are first in the wild card with the Islanders second in the wild card. That's the East.
Islanders are very close.
That's the East for you in a nutshell. Sabres are seven spots out of the wild card. In the West, Minnesota's in first place in the Central, ahead of Chicago. So all you Pat Kane fans out there, you got to watch out for Minnesota. They are less than a game ahead of Chicago right now. Who would have thought Minnesota on top of the charts right now? San Jose ahead of Edmonton and Pacific. They're number 1 and number 2. The wild card is Calgary and St. Louis. With the Los Angeles is 3rd in the wild card. This is a stacked team. How are they not in the playoff spot? But we'll see what happens with that. They still have some time left. I think they'll end up making it. So that's it for NHL. I don't know. What other news we got?
That's it. It's time for our arm wrestle,
Time to clear this table real quick.
We're going to do the arm wrestle real quick for you guys, so I hope you're watching. We've been on for, I don't know. We've been on. Let's just keep going.
All right, we got the arm wrestle going.
We still got to talk about drugs. So
that's another topic we'll get into.
We're going to get onto that in a minute.
So stay tuned for that.
So here we go. This is for you guys because we love you. Again, we told you.
Hold on, let's see if they can see us good.
If they recommend show stuff, we will do it.
Can they see us good
we'll
right now?
do it. They can see us.
Oh, yeah, they can see it.
All right.
Hold on, wait. We got to make this table so I can... Is it good? All right.
All right, you guys ready?
How are we going to set this? 1, 2, 3?
We'll put both hands here, count to 3, and then we go from there.
All right.
All right? Ready?
All right.
One.
All right, let's do this.
1. He's getting pretty pumped up. I ain't even stretched. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, folks. That's the way the world is. That's the way the world is. What do you want me to do? Thumb wrestle? Arm wrestle?
Defeat. I'm defeated.
Defeated. But Neil's still my co-host, still my buddy.
I quit.
He's staying. He's staying. Guys, make him feel loved. I want to see hearts popping all over that screen right now. Right now.
You got those short, stocky arms, man. Arms are too long. I'm trying to, like, I can't get any leverage, man.
You guys are too much. You guys
That was fun, though.
Next thing
we'll get a rematch. We'll get a rematch going.
We'll have a rematch pretty soon. What'd you guys think? You guys like our show?
All right, listen. I'm going to start training now. I'm going to have to go get Joey Portero involved, get some boxing training going. And Mike Christopher, get training up. Give me 6 months, I'll be back. I'm coming for you.
6 months? All right, you train all you want, bro.
I
eat tacos on Tuesday.
I owe this guy a
That's how I
coffee.
do it.
I owe this guy a coffee
He owes
now.
me a coffee.
So.
All right. So we're gonna talk about something that's been bothering us for a while, and
Alex Barton says thumb wars and arm wrestling to be a once a week thing.
All
right,
so
I'll agree with that. Yeah, we can do that.
We're gonna discuss something that is very near and dear to Neil and I's heart, and that is drugs. The war on drugs. So
the war on drugs, which
Yeah.
I think is a mess and a waste of money and time.
So we have a lot of people in our town that are dying from heroin overdoses, opioid overdoses, and it is very terrible that people are dying from this. So Neil, go ahead, go into your little spiel about drugs and how you feel about it.
Well, when I say it's a waste of time, and I don't think it's a waste of time exactly. I think they're going at it the wrong way. Here's what I think about this. Okay? A lot of overdoses, especially with heroin, are with what we call a bad batch. Where you get some dope, but you don't know what it is. You go ahead and you do it, like you're always doing it, and turns out this stuff was way too potent or whatever. It was cut with something, some, what's it called? Fentanyl, and that's it. It's over with. So, with that being said, I think the problem lies with
Big pharmacies.
Not exactly big pharmacy. Here's what I think about the whole thing. I'm gonna relate this to alcohol. Okay, back in the Prohibition days, people were making moonshine. They're making homemade liquor, and there was the same epidemic going on. People were dying from drinking alcohol. If you do your research, you find out that people didn't know what they were drinking. It was just street-made alcohol, and it was overdosing. And when they figured out that if you legalize it and regulate it, you can not only make it so that there is no bad batches, it's just you know what you're going to get. Not only that, now the crime rate goes down because there's less dealing going on. You don't have these street dealers out there anymore because they're done. Their competition is cut out. They go right to the stores or pharmacies or whatever. Now, brings me to my next point is about addiction. Now, I think addiction isn't with the drug itself. I think addiction is to do with the person. Certain people have predispositions based on the way they feel, the way they think. They could be depressed. Could be a number of things. And I think the war on drugs needs to stop going after the drugs and needs to go after mental health and more as that. Okay, so what I'm basically saying is I think human beings should have the right to put whatever they want in their body. Okay? But I think it should be regulated and made safer. And you treat it like alcohol. You have people who have alcohol problems, and you stop. Those people need to not drink, so they get help. They go to AA, whatever. But basically, the point I'm trying to make is, I don't think people who. I said this yesterday in our live stream. I said, what is the crime in if a person doesn't like how they feel, and they want to change the way they feel by using a drug? What is the crime in that? What is their intent? It's not to hurt anybody. It's not doing anything to society to bring down society. All they're doing is they just want to change how they feel. So why should someone like that be put away and told that they're less than others, or now they can't get certain jobs, or their record's in trouble now, and now they're in jail because they just wanted to feel a different way? It's nonsense to me. We should be way past that way of thinking in 2017. So I'm a progressive when it comes to drugs. I'm very left-leaning when it comes to this. I consider myself liberal on this topic. And I think you're the opposite of that. What do you guys say?
So thank you, and you make a lot of valid points here. So let's talk about this. Let's break this down. So in the country today, tobacco, smoking cigarettes, costs $130 billion in healthcare. That's $295 billion that's been spent on overall healthcare for tobacco-related illnesses. Alcohol is about $25 billion, so that's the small baby right now. And overall, that's about $224 billion on everything. And then illicit drug overdoses and drugs are costing us as taxpayers about $11 billion, and that's an overall estimate of $193 billion. Okay, the cost of substance abuse in America is costing us taxpayers annually $700 billion a year. Okay, so we as adults, we as the future of our country, need to take a step back and look at what's causing the problem. Okay, first and foremost, we live in a world that is moving too fast. Everybody has a problem. Everybody has an issue. Everybody has a reason they need to do a drug or drink an alcoholic substance or smoke a cigarette for that matter. We need to be able to come together as a country, figure out what's causing these problems so people aren't abusing drugs, and take care of the situation that way. The second thing we need to address is how are these drugs getting into our country? One, pharmaceutical companies, bear with me for a moment, I think it depends on the drug.
Ariana made a good point. The people who get hurt are the ones who are not using it, which is the extended family of the person who's actually using. And she's right, because when someone's in, I'm going to let you get back to that. I just want to touch on that real quick. When someone's using and it's getting out of control, they're stealing from their family, whatever, they're doing what they do to get the next high. And the family is the ones who are the ones who end up hurting the most. And that's a good point, which is where I get back to where I stand, where I think the problem, when you make a drug illegal, it just becomes, it's still going to be brought into the streets. There's still going to be a black market for it. It's going to be street dealers, and like I said, I really think that there needs to be a total, complete change in the way we approach addiction, and I think it just needs to be regulated better. And
I agree with you. I do. So here's my solution to the problem. So as I was saying, number two, the problem is we got illegal drugs pouring over our borders. So hopefully with Trump locking up the borders, and not to get into politics because that's not what we're trying to do. Hopefully with Trump closing up the borders, the drug problem will start to decrease slowly. We have to go after, number one, we have to go after the pharmaceutical companies, and we have to go after the black market where they're selling these drugs. The pharmaceutical companies are illegal drug dealers. They're peddling the drugs, and they know exactly what they're doing with it. They know the deaths that they're caused by these pills. They know that the deaths that are caused by heroin overdose. They know all this. They know the statistics. But here's the thing I want to make very clear. We can't deny people the right to take a painkiller when they're in pain. Right? We can't do that. We need to, as a human being, as an American culture, we need to be able to care for our sick and ill. So how do we deal with this problem, right? Here's my idea. I think we should legalize all drugs. All drugs should be legalized.
I agree.
Okay? Then what you would do as a country is you would apply as a legal drug user. Okay? Then you will go to the government to get your drugs.
And not only that,
okay?
Street dealers are gone. Crime rate goes down. Less murders, less
on
everything.
top of that, you're going to bring in huge tax dollars. Huge tax dollars. But the thing here is there is a way to take drugs. And I don't want to, and this is not to give anybody the idea that I support drug use, because I do not.
No, me neither. I don't.
But there is a way to take drugs cleanly and that would be through the government. So if you give the government the opportunity to socialize, and you're hearing this from a conservative, I want to make that very clear. Socialize drug use. 1, the deaths in America will be cut down. 2, you can start substance abuse programs, right? So every time you come in for a fix, you have to go for a substance abuse program at that day, right? You can have clean rooms, clean needles, places where drug dealers, drug addicts can go. I'm sorry, Ashley. It's the truth.
And another thing is, I just want to add on to what you're saying. Think about when, so certain people who need to get, who need this as a medication or a prescription for themselves, they're not going to be going out committing crimes to get it anymore because it's legal. You have access to it. So there'll be less overdoses because now you know what you're getting, you know what milligram it is, you know what it is. So all those go down, crime rate goes down. Look at Amsterdam. Amsterdam has it together, man. They're so very progressive when it comes to this. Pretty much every drug's legal in Amsterdam. And there's a lot of maintenance programs out there. Nobody's out there robbing banks to get high. It just doesn't happen because they can just go and get it wherever you have to go. Same with Vancouver. Vancouver in Canada, British Columbia. They got it together. Those are the places we need to look at in order to reform this whole process of how it's going right now.
And so, Ashley, you say the government needs not to be involved in their war on drugs. It made the issue worse, right? The reason that the government was involved on the war on drugs in the first place was because they were dealing out taxpayer funds. This program could literally become self-sufficient.
Yes.
So it could be like Social Security. It could, before we borrowed into it, it could become self-sufficient. Whereas the drug dealers are paying for the programs, the rooms, and everything like that. Listen, in no means, shape, or form is illicit drug use okay. I am not going to sit here and condone. I'm not going to sit here and condone the use of drugs.
I get what you're saying, and I'm adding to that is when you make something illegal that people want, it doesn't take it away. So the war on drugs right now, the approach that we're going at it is just, it's not working. It's been for 40 years now. It hasn't worked. It needs to be a drastic, complete change in the way we approach drug use and the crime, and how it's a crime. It should not be where it is today.
So, and I completely agree with you on that. And the other thing, too, that I want to make out. So in my program, drug use would not be condoned unless you were 18 years old or
Obviously.
older. Under no circumstances, and I would still make it illegal. I would say even
21.
I would still make. We can even do that.
Yeah, I would say 21.
I would say
the same as alcohol. Right.
Under no circumstances should any child be subjected to marijuana use, heroin use, opioid use, any sort of use of illicit drugs or substance abuse. And as the future of our country, as we are the future of our country, we need to fight to make sure our kids are off these drugs and have the right programs in place for success.
And the number one killer is not, it's the street. It's the street drug, and it's the lack of access to. Look, here's another way to look at it. We have the technology and the science and the people involved right now where we could come out with new medications for people who I really do believe that there's a certain person who seeks out certain drugs. Okay, there's something going on in the brain and the mind and mental health wise where this needs to be.
We do fact check.
This
Scott.
needs to be.
We do.
This needs to be searched more. We need to look into this more, and I think there needs to be a revolution in the drug war in the drug world, and there needs to be new medications. I think Suboxone was a good step towards the right direction for people with opiate addiction. That was a good step in the right direction, but I think that's not. We shouldn't end it there. She needs to keep going, keep trying to do new things, and we need to let people become comfortable in their skin, whatever way, no matter which way it is, however way they want to do it.
So listen, Ariana wants to know what drugs would I legalize. All right, so I'm going to legalize first and foremost. It would be a 3-step process. Okay, I would legalize marijuana first. There's no reason, and I want to make this very clear. I want to make this as clear as I possibly can. The portion of tax dollars that I would get. The portion of tax dollars that I would get from legalizing marijuana in the state of New York and throughout the country, a huge major portion of those tax dollars would go towards advertisement, deferment, dairy programs to stop kids from getting involved with marijuana. I don't care what anybody says. It kills brain cells. It makes you lazy. It makes you not be able to get a job. It's a terrible drug. I don't think anybody should do it. That's my opinion. I'm sorry.
Even alcohol is not a good drug.
No. And I'm not going to sit here and say it is. But I don't think that a 14-year-old has the right brain cells or the right mindset to decide if they want to smoke marijuana or not.
I think alcohol is probably the worst drug, to be honest.
Okay? That's number one. So I would legalize marijuana and use the funds that I made from legalizing that marijuana to fight against its use. To fight against its widely spread use. Second, I would then legalize opioid addiction. Okay? I want to make sure that people aren't dying. People are dying because it's illegal. People are going to a black market dealer to get the drugs.
Right,
they're stealing from their grandparents. They're stealing from their mother, their uncle. They're robbing pharmacies. They're getting. If you can avoid that by making it legal, not only are we as a country going to profit off of them, and I'm sorry to say that, but we got to look at this from a business sense.
Think of heroin as like moonshine and some sort of new, I don't know what it would be yet, some sort of new functioning as like a beer. Like, you have to figure out a way to minimize death and crime. Whatever it is, whatever you got to do to minimize death and crime, I'm on board. So even if it's to take a drastic approach and, like Joe said, start a whole new legalization thing. I've been looking the whole time,
Scott.
Yeah,
I've been check.
I've been big into this.
What do you want me to say?
Listen,
what fact? These are opinions.
Has a different approach than we do.
This is an opinionated show.
It is.
It is not based off of facts. We know how many people are killed in the country every day based off of drug overdoses.
So let's let Scott get his voice out here, okay? I'd like to keep this show with everyone involved. So what Scott's saying is, okay, I'm going to read this as good as I can. Pay attention to this real quick. As a part of its war on drugs, Portugal has stopped prosecuting users. The substance listed in the law 32,000 table are still illegal in Portugal. Otherwise, we would have gotten into trouble with the UN. Okay, so the UN still got their macho war on drugs thing going on. So why set limits on these drugs at 10 days worth of use? Okay, so Portugal's national anti-drug program and an important figure in Portuguese health policy, they still take like an easygoing family doctor. Arrayed on windstills are photographs, including one of them of Richard Branson, the British billionaire and hot air balloon operator. Wait, this is one I was trying to read. The question is, okay, how can a government keep its citizens from taking dangerous drugs? One way to crack down on these is to provide the drugs, the cartels, the middlemen, and the street dealers. Street dealers. Another approach is to focus on the customers, arresting them, trying to imprison them. Legal prosecution as both a control mechanism and a deterrent is the chosen approach for most governments. So you got two ways of looking at it. Do we lock people up for just wanting to feel different, or do we let them do what they want to do with their own bodies and try what we can to minimize death and crime?
And that's the goal here, right? And another thing too is when you bring a child, for example, on the streets into jail, you're taking away their future, right? Our goal as a society is to make sure that we nurture and take care of our children so they can grow to take care of us and produce better, more efficient government in a country, right? So what do we want to do here? Do we want to take a troubled child that's addicted to heroin and throw him in lockup with the rest of the scumbags when we can get him treatment and hopefully grow him out of that addiction? Let me tell you something. As far as I'm concerned, I think all drugs are bad. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. I don't feel that you need to smoke marijuana to feel better about yourself. I don't think that you should have to drink a beer to feel better about yourself.
Right.
I don't think that you should have to do that. If you have to do that, there's something wrong. You need to address that problem.
Exactly. The problem doesn't lie in the drug itself. The problem is with the person taking the drug. So, like I said, I think you need to look at it. Like, I think alcohol, the way alcohol progressed from the 20s till now is actually the best way to look at it, because not only has alcohol been through this whole process of what we're talking about right now, we got into a point where society looks at alcohol as just some fun thing to do. When really, if you really look at the numbers, it's a dangerous thing. People are getting intoxicated, getting behind the wheel. You got DWIs. Alcohol is just as bad as any other drug. But what if, can you imagine if you wanted to go out and get drunk and you had to worry about getting arrested just because you wanted to let a load off or something? I mean, it's ridiculous. I just think, in my opinion, will always be like this. That's not the right approach to go about going against people who want to feel a different way than they feel normal, okay?
Absolutely.
I don't know how else
Scott
to say
said
it.
alcohol is the number one cause of death over any other drug.
So what? What do
The
you
problem
I don't
with
understand.
the
Would that make that illegal too? I don't
The difference
understand that.
between alcohol and opioids, Scott, and this is a fact, you can fact check this, is alcohol is not killing all of our children like heroin is. Heroin is taking away our babies. Heroin is literally taking away our children, our best friends, our family, our cousins, our aunts, our uncles. Where do we draw the line? How do we address this problem? We need to, as a country, come together and decide how we're going to deal with this problem. And I believe the first step in doing that is legalizing the problem, open up dispensaries across the country, eliminating the middleman, the cartels, the drug dealers, just as this article said, and then spending the majority of that money on maintaining programs.
So, another thing right here I found out about this whole Portugal thing. It's not just Portugal, it's other places in the world too. There's Amsterdam and Vancouver in Canada. The data show, among other things, the number of adults in Portugal who have at some point taken illegal drugs is rising. At the same time, though, the number of teenagers who have at some point taken illegal drugs is falling. The number of drug addicts who have undergone rehab has also increased dramatically, while the number of drug addicts who have become infected with HIV has fallen significantly. What, though, do these numbers mean? With what exactly can they be compared? There isn't a great deal of data from before that experiment began. And for example, the number of adults who have tried illegal drugs at the same point in their lives is increasing in most other countries throughout Europe as well. So you're seeing numbers go up, but you're seeing other numbers go down as well because, like I said, it's regulated and it's made safer. That's what me and Joe are trying to get at. We think there should be a more humanitarian approach to this. Make it safer. Make it easier to find. Make it more accessible, so that we don't have to have people going out robbing banks and stealing from their family or overdosing because they don't know what they're getting. That's all we're trying to say. I mean, I don't know. That's all I really got. I mean, what else? Is there anything more you want to say about it? What do we got in the chat? Harm reduction. That's exactly what we're talking about.
So, to give you some numbers, Scott wanted to know how many babies do I know. To give you some numbers, and this is just in Milwaukee. These are the tiniest addicts in the country. Okay, more than 13,000 of Wisconsin babies are born each year addicted to heroin. 13,000 babies.
That's because their mother was on it.
Town.
Now that's an epidemic in itself.
And then on top of that, in 2010, 68 dependent babies were born in Aurora's neonatal intensive care unit in Milwaukee. And this is just Milwaukee. I mean, the numbers are astonishing. Our babies are dying from this, guys. Our babies are dying from this. We need to come up with a plan to defend against this. And the only plan that I see that's going to actually help people, get people out of the water, get people up and moving towards a better life, and out of fear.
It's actually safe for a pregnant woman to be on buprenorphine, which is a replacement, basically Suboxone.
I agree. Thank you, Scott. I just had to fact check.
It's a safer way to do it. So things like that. That's just an example of where I think the big pharma needs to look at. I think people need to get together. Big pharma, people in science, people in politics need to take a whole other approach at the way they're going about it. I just don't think jail is the answer.
Absolutely, I agree. Suboxone is just as bad.
Suboxone is just as bad. I don't know what. Not really though. Suboxone isn't just as bad. Suboxone is drug you could take where if you really, in your mind, in your heart and in your mind, you really want to live a clean life, Suboxone can be a way to do that. It's not just as bad. There's no one's overdosing on Suboxone. Your body gets used to Suboxone. You don't nod off and say hi on Suboxone. You just function. That's why I think Suboxone is a step in the right direction for opiate addiction.
Well, listen, we're going to end the show with
You can
this.
abuse Suboxone, though, and Ariana's right. There are people who abuse it, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. In your mind and in your heart, if you really want to live a good life and you take Suboxone the way it's supposed to be taken, it's right. But like you said, I agree with that. You could abuse it. That's people who aren't ready to take it, though.
I agree. 96% of people that get on Suboxone relapse. 96%.
I don't know.
And that's Scott's facts.
Sure
I haven't fact checked that yet.
Not sure if that's true.
But with that being said, remember, we want to end the show on a positive note. Don't live in fear. You only got 86,000 deposits in a day. Make sure every single one of them count. Make sure you fight for every inch that you want. Know yourself and fight for your right to be happy and be loved, and don't let fear win. That's the moral of the story. Drugs are killing our children because they're fearful of the unknown. That's the end of the story. That's why the drugs epidemic is killing everybody, because everybody's afraid of what's going to happen when they come off the drugs. Everybody's afraid of what's going to happen if they don't know what's planned for them tomorrow. Life is short.
You gotta live in the
You only
now.
got
Live
90 years. You only got 72, 90 years on this planet. Do what you love and don't be afraid to do it. And we're going to say goodbye with that.
So I just want to say one more thing. Live your life. Do the next right thing at the right time. Live for today. Learn from the past, but don't stay in it. And always strive for the best you can be. Be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. You'll be okay. And stay crazy.
Stay crazy. We love you guys. Thanks for watching. We had fun.